Guys, I can't say I'm surprised by what we just witnessed and endured with the Steelers, offense and defense. Just a typical Steelers heartache. An annual Steelers heartache.
And it would happen on the Steelers home opener, wouldn't it? Very, 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 very ugly win, especially in the second half. But you know what? We'll take it. We're 2-0 right now.
Not the cleanest win, not the finest
one. Not the proudest win. I can't say I'm proud with this win,
but
I will take it.
We will take it. We are 2-0 right now. The Denver Broncos came into our territory, with injuries and came out with injuries. But even with their backups, I will admit and I will say you guys came and played some damn good Broncos football in Steelers Stadium.
On the road, man. So props to them. Once they're completely healthy, I think they can be a serious team.
Oh, yeah. I definitely still think they're a wild card team.
And they're so young. So young. So young. They're going to learn a lot, man. They're so young at every position. So, huge props to them. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
But honestly, although we give them props, and we're not trying to trash them completely, it shouldn't have came down to this.
It should not have been.
I mean, they have Jeff Driscoll at quarterback. They are down to the bottom of the barrel at receivers with Courtland Sutton getting injured. Jerry Jeudy was hurt. KJ Hamler getting his first ever action in the pros. They have depth pretty much. So, I mean, it shouldn't have came down to this. Melvin Gordon, there were times he ran down the field. There were also times the Steelers were able to stop him and everything. The defense, of course. So, I mean, it's all I can say about this game is that it was very inconsistent, very hot and cold. I guess we can start with the Steelers' offense first.
Yeah, I think this is what was really the main talking point about this game. The Steelers' offense, like you said, hot and cold, up and down, inconsistent is what I would really describe.
Very inconsistent. I don't know where to start. I guess we'll start with the Steelers' rushing game. James Conner led the way, even though he didn't do much last week, and Benny Snell had over 100 yards. There were talks that the Steelers were going to split carries with Snell and Conner. That was not the case. No. It was incredibly lopsided towards Conner's spot. He got 16 carries for 106 yards, 1 touchdown, and Snell only got 3 attempts, 3 carries.
For what, 5 yards?
Now, he did have a fumble. That is his second straight fumble, his second fumble in 2 straight weeks.
Yeah.
So that's going to be an issue. We've been advocating for Benny Snell to get the ball more, and we still are, but his ball security is going to be an issue. But you can say the same thing about this entire offense. Benny Snell had a fumble. Deontay Johnson had a fumble at the very start of the game. I think he muffed the punt as well. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Ben Roethlisberger threw an interception to Justin Simmons, which is absolutely just a horrible throw.
Yeah.
So ball security is still an issue with this defense or with this offense.
Yeah, I believe this was the 25th straight game dating back to 2 years ago where we gave the ball up at least one time on offense. And I got to tell you, that needs to stop.
That needs to stop, man.
That literally needs to stop.
That's just sickening.
That's what's going to hurt our team and have us lose games.
That's what loses you football games. That almost lost us the football game today. But I don't understand why we're not giving even reps to Benny Snell and James Conner. I'm fine with us splitting reps because we don't have a true number one running back.
No, I think that should be the perfect, way to utilize our rushing game.
But Benny Snell had over 100 yards last week, and he only gave him the ball 3 times. I don't know why that...
Inconsistency, man.
I don't know why that occurred.
It's inconsistency.
It's like the Steelers are so favorable on James Conner that they're not really focusing on what's best to win.
Exactly.
So it's one of those things where the Steelers put too much faith in their favorite guys instead of just knowing what's best for the team, but refusing to do so.
They're known, especially Tomlin, they're known to stay dedicated to one player and one player only.
It's been that for years.
Yes, and listen, we love Conner, hell of a talent when healthy and when utilized, but Benny Snell played his absolute heart out against the Giants. Why would you not try to utilize that and be consistent with that?
Right. And
see if he is consistent with that.
Yeah, and again, he did have a fumble, but you can say the same thing about James Conner in this entire offense.
Yeah.
Ball security is an issue. So
and that's something that they do need to work on, but you guys should split carries with Conner and Snell.
Right. But
you guys did not split. It was more of a 70% for Conner and 30% for Snell.
Yeah, even Samuel's got more playing time than Snell, which I don't understand. I really don't understand.
Listen, yes, Snell had a fumble, but the man is talented as all hell.
If you're going to harper on Snell having a fumble and saying, he shouldn't be the star running back now, then
you should say the same about Conner from years prior.
Yeah.
I remember that Broncos game. The previous one where we lost.
Or even that Niners game last week or last year.
Exactly, man.
Or was that the Seahawks game? I don't remember. Nonetheless, I mean, another thing that really ticked us off with this game is, where was Derek Watt?
You signed this man because he's more beneficial, he's more healthy than the previous fullback, Roosevelt Nix. You released him, signed Derek Watt.
But don't use him?
I don't get it.
I don't understand that. Now, the one time they did use him that we seen was at the end of the game, and he was the lead block for James Conner that got a 59-yard run.
Which got him the majority of his rushing yards, because I think he only had 50 yards total on 15 carries or something like that.
Yeah,
a little less.
He barely averaged 3.5 yards a carry.
And that 1 yard, that one run got him over 100 yards.
Yeah.
Stats, they look promising, but overall, Conner didn't really do much until Watt was in there. And that goes to show you that you need to utilize your fullback, Derek Watt.
Yes.
I don't get why you aren't. They did a lot of shotgun formations, a lot of freaking, handoffs, which weren't working whatsoever.
Yeah, shotgun draws, screens, dinks and dunks. It was like last year's play calling with Fichtner. Fichtner's play calling is still questionable. It's still being seen. It's still
conservative.
He's still calling the shots. I don't know why Ben hasn't completely taken over.
He's very conservative.
Very conservative.
And it's something that this offense does not need.
There was a time where Joe Hayden, I believe, got an interception at the end of the first half, and the Steelers were about midfield, maybe a little farther into midfield, but we had to punt. Well, no, I'm sorry. We had to settle for a field goal. We were at one point at the goal line, and we ran a shotgun draw.
And we lost yardage there with Conner.
Why are you not going to use the I form? Nonetheless, if it was Conner or Snell at running back, why aren't you using Derek Watt in the I form formation at the goal line and punching it in the right way, the proper way? We left points off the board.
Yeah. I don't get it. I even look back at, James Conner's 2018 season when he made the Pro Bowl. When Roosevelt Nix was healthy, when he's being utilized, you saw the amount of yards that James Conner was getting. Sometimes a fullback can be the running back's best friend.
Yeah.
You can even look at, dating back to when Le'Veon Bell was with us, when Nix was healthy. Bell was getting so many yards because of the fullback.
Yeah.
Because Nix was the lead blocker. Derek Watt can be that lead blocker for not only James Conner, but Benny Snell.
And look what he did that stealed us the game. This is what happens when you use a fullback.
Now, we know it's not going to work every time, and we're not saying do it all the time. But when it matters the most, utilize your fullback. You signed him for a reason. You need to use him more consistently.
Seriously.
And a lot more.
Now, he looked good in special teams. He got a special teams tackle that ended in a safety. He wasn't the only Watt that showed up today. So good on Derek Watt, man. Seriously. But we need to start seeing him in this offense more, in the lineup,
and I form. We need to truly split carries, not give one player the majority of the carries and just have him, the backup, just get a little bit. No, we need to do 50-50.
Granted, we did say on Twitter before the game, Snell should get the majority of the carries for obvious reasons. But even now, seeing what James Conner could potentially do, just split it evenly, 50-50. Seriously. And like Bob said, man, use I form, not all the time, but in situations that are most important.
Yes.
Especially that 3rd and 2 or 4th and 2.
Yeah, like Benny Snell. Like, he is the perfect power back for that situation. You have Derek Watt in the right there in the I form formation.
Yeah.
Benny Snell runs it in. Perfect. 6 points.
But there was this one time we were in a 4th and 2, right? And now, at that point, we tried to get the Broncos to jump off, get an offside and quickly get the first down. That didn't occur. So instead of letting the play clock run down and get a delay game penalty and then punting, we called a timeout, went for it, and failed. I don't know why we didn't try I form on that 4th down, but why the hell do we even do the timeout in the first place and then go for it? Why didn't you just punt the fucking ball, take the penalty, punt the ball, and then let the defense take care of it? The defense up until that point was doing phenomenal. Trust the defense. It's not like this is 2015 where you have to go for it. You don't trust your defense.
Yeah.
Defense is one of the best in the league. You can trust the defense. Why are you wasting a timeout? 2 scores up. I like the aggressiveness, but that was stupid.
That was very dumb.
Why are you wasting a timeout early into the second half with a 4th and 2 and then going for it and failing? I would have just taken the penalty and punted.
That's what we should have done.
That wasn't the only dumb call that we wasted a timeout on. There was this one where the Broncos were driving down the field close towards the end of the game. Noah Fant beat Devin Bush. He beat him a couple times in coverage, honestly, man. Bush is not the best in coverage, clearly. Noah Fant had a really good game in the second half. He beat Bush a lot of times. There was this one time that Noah Fant beat him deep, and he got his feet in bounds, just barely. He made a hell of a catch on the sideline.
Oh, yeah.
He just barely got his feet in bounds.
And Mike Tomlin throws a challenge flag.
Why?
We're just sitting there like, what the hell are you doing, man? Like, he clearly got that foot in.
Barely, but it's clear as day he got that foot in. You throw the challenge flag, which I don't know why that hasn't been taken away from you. You haven't won the challenge in God knows how long. I think last year was the first time you made a successful challenge. And what?
3 years.
3 years?
4 years.
And now here you are starting your streak again with this dumb challenge that cost us a second stupid timeout.
And
we lost 2 timeouts in the second half that could have came into play.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it didn't.
Yeah, in that situation, that could have fucking bit us in the ass.
But imagine if that came into play. We would have had only 1 timeout with 2-minute offense with Ben driving down the field. That could have came into play. Thankfully, it didn't.
Yeah, it didn't. Because defense, first half was great. 5 sacks, 2 takeaways, played phenomenal. Second half, I definitely feel like they slept on their competition,
Or they were gassed, or probably both.
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of both, but
it was a typical Tomlin special, to be real with you.
They only had 2 sacks, but one specific sack came into play with Terrell freaking Edmonds, of all people.
Terrell Edmonds.
We've been very critical.
Not joking.
We've been very critical, as you guys all know, and rightfully so, to a point he's got us blocked on Twitter. No lie. But he came in big, he came in clutch, and I will give Edmonds his props.
Now, he did look pretty bad in coverage for the game.
His pass coverage is awful.
Yeah.
It's a scenario that he should not be in.
I don't know why Butler or Tomlin or whoever is still putting him in that role. It's a horrible coaching scheme. Why are you putting him in those positions to fail? You know he's going to fail every time. Stop putting him in those roles. Maybe we won't bash him as much if you put him in positions to succeed. This was one of them. The safety blitz on 4th down. He got the sack, sealed the game for the defense. Then the offense did what they had to do with Derek Watt and James Conner running 59 yards. Isn't it funny how throughout the entire game we weren't doing what we were supposed to do outside of the defense for the first half, but then when it came the most, the final 2 plays that came in crucial, we actually used the players to the best of their ability, and they succeeded? See what happens?
Why can't we do that the majority of the game?
Seriously.
I really don't get it.
In the first half, defense was phenomenal. Like you said, 5 sacks. TJ Watt had 2.5 sacks in this game. I think he had 1.5 sacks in the first half alone. Mm-hmm. Mike Hilton had a great game. He had a sack. He's the best blitzing corner in the league. It's one of the better calls Butler has is that corner blitz with Mike Hilton, man. He's just so incredible there. Tyson Alualu is looking great.
Bud Dupree is playing out of his freaking mind. He got a forced fumble. I think Hilton picked it up.
I think Cameron Hayward had half a sack as well. So I mean, it was great the first half. It looked like the Steelers' typical defense. They gave up some big plays here and there. A big wide open pass to Cortland Sutton. Noah Fant. Oh, that was in the second half. But Melvin Gordon was driving down the field. But most of the time, even though they allowed some big plays and let the Broncos drive down the field, they always finished strong.
They did.
Now in the second half, that wasn't necessarily the case up until Edmonds' sack, but still. The defense they were great in the first half, but they were very inconsistent in the second half. They gave up touchdowns. They gave up big plays. They let the Broncos with a backup quarterback drive down the field with pretty much, I'd say at this point, no targets outside of Noah Fant and an injured Jerry Jeudy.
Right.
So that's pretty unacceptable. Whether that was the defense just underestimating their competition on some Mike Tomlin shit, or if they were gassed, maybe both, but still.
Yeah.
It was very 2015-ish. Brought back very bad memories. Thankfully, the defense, like they did in the first half, finished strong. Credit to them.
Absolutely. We're glad we got the win. It wasn't the cleanest one. It wasn't the finest one. It wasn't the prettiest one. But we got it. But we should not be getting wins like this. I honestly say we were very lucky to come out with the win.
Very lucky. Had a home opener.
And I'm not underestimating the Broncos. I think they got a lot of talent. I think they got a lot of potential. But this should never have come to this situation.
Yeah. But one thing we do want to say before we get out here is, of course, Big Ben had a great game. 29 completions off of 41 attempts, 311 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did have a very stupid interception to Justin Simmons, but James Conner, outside of that 59-yard game sealer, he really didn't do much outside of that first touchdown.
Yeah.
Deontay Johnson, he's very reminiscent of this offense, very hot and cold. He shows potential of breaking out, but his ball security is a serious issue. He has drops, fumbling problems, muffing problems. But at the same time, he was very slippery and AB-like when he had the ball in his hands, and especially at punt returner. So there's times where he shows flashes. He just got to work on his drops and ball security.
Yeah, and I'm hoping he does that. Johnson's definitely a big sleeper. He's definitely going to be he is a stud. He's going to be a stud. I definitely think there's room for improvement. I think he is going to grow.
And who's going to be an absolute stud, no doubt about it? Chase Claypool.
Mapletron has arrived, guys. He had a freaking phenomenal game, especially with his first career touchdown, 84 yards to the house.
Straight deep, one-on-one, straight go route, bent through it in the bucket. Man, I'll tell you what, speed kills.
Chase Claypool, with his size, speed, potential, and hype, that is real. He's going to be special in this team, on this offense.
84 yards for his first career touchdown, man. Not a lot of people can say that. Great on him. And he looked great in special teams. He was everywhere in special teams. He had like 4 special teams tackles. Everywhere you saw the ball on special teams, Claypool was there.
Yeah.
So this dude's a stud, man. I think we ought to start getting him more in the starting lineup, get him more in rotations, honestly. Get him the ball more. He will make magic happen.
Absolutely. Chase Claypool is here to stay. He is here to ball. He's arrived, guys.
Seriously.
The hype is real.
So, pretty ugly win, but you know what? I'll take it. There's stuff we definitely got to improve on for the offense, specifically consistency and figuring out who we want in the lineup, and, of course, ball security. That's for sure.
Yes. Defense, man. Overall, I think you guys had a great game. Just keep doing what you're doing. Continue getting pressure. Continue getting sacks, takeaways. Just keep doing what you're doing, defense.
I don't want to see all these big completions up the middle or these third down completions or these penalties. Even though some of them were bullshit, these penalties on third downs that continue drives for the opposing team. That's unacceptable.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys are finishing the drive with a sack or turnover the majority of the time, but you definitely need to slim down on the big plays.
Seriously.
But overall, keep doing what you're doing. This defense is elite. It's great. It's clutch.
Other than that, man, pretty ugly win. Very ugly win. Not the proudest win. It honestly feels like a loss, but we'll take it. We got the Houston Texans next week. Before we get out of here, we want to give a huge shout out to the Renegades of Pittsburgh, a.k.a. the Steel City Disciples. As you guys know, Steel Maiden, Steel Jackson, Steel Jedi, Renegade 412, Brune Steel, Lady Steel. Let's see, who else is there?
Erica Steel, Steel Tenant. Or Tenant of Steel, I mean.
Yeah, of course, Just Blaze 412. We were on his stream for the second half. I don't know, maybe we were a jinx. Ever since we hopped onto that stream, we started playing off, so I don't know, but huge shout out to him, man. Huge shout out to the entire Renegades of Pittsburgh, man.
If we missed any names, we apologize, but you guys know who you are.
Of course, Mac Main.
Yes, everybody definitely goes up to those guys. They are just as passionate, if not even more passionate than we are, man. They are just great Steelers video makers. Definitely check them out. They're awesome.
Great content creators, just the most passionate, loyal, knowledgeable Steelers fans you'll know, man. They make us better in terms of loyalty and knowledge, man. So credit to them. Huge shout out to them. But let us know your guys' thoughts down below, man. We got the Texans next week. We got something in mind for the Texans this upcoming week for the game preview, so look out for that.
And we definitely got some stuff to work on, but hopefully we do. Heading next to the Texans game.
Yeah, so let us know your guys' thoughts down below, man. See you guys in the next one. Here we go, Steelers.
Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you guys later.
Peace!